In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Side podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back on in to the Have You Seen It podcast.
Yeah. Welcome back on in.
Welcome back on in.
Take a seat.
Yeah, have a seat. We always leave a chair open
Jonas,
just for you guys for the podcast. That's why we always have a
Open
third
chair?
available chair.
Yeah. Anyone's allowed to walk
It's-
in. Anytime.
yeah.
It's open door policy.
We're kind of artistic how we do that too. It's kind of like
Yeah.
impressionable, like here it is.
Yeah. Kind of autistic.
Autistic? Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Assuming that someone's just going to walk in here and take this seat.
At any time,
no one
it
ever
could
has.
happen. No one ever has. No.
So it's
We
wishful thinking.
rarely get guests here. We should probably take the chair
Even when
out,
we
as a
ask
matter of
them,
fact.
they don't show up.
I'm putting it on Facebook Market.
Yeah,
that
get
chair.
rid of this
There's no
goddamn chair.
point.
We don't need it. It's a waste of space. But, Will Mason, it is officially Star Wars week.
It is Star Wars week, and about 20 minutes before the podcast started, that's really all we could talk about. Is just
Well, it only happens. Well, it happens once a year.
once
now.
a year now. Yeah.
Sometimes twice a year, honestly. So, but what's your level of excitement at, Mason? From Jabba the Hutt
Well,
to
Jar
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 Binks
Binks.
level of excitement. Give me that.
I'm gonna go Jabba the Hutt.
Nowhere you could have went doing in between. You
I
could have
could've,
done
I
something,
could've.
but you were bottom level. Not excited at all, huh?
No, I am excited for it. I
It's
actually
the
just
end of the Skywalker
it is
saga.
Yeah, 9 episodes in.
I think it's bullshit they call that. They should call it the RD2 saga because
It really is.
He's
and the C-3PO. And
it's
all.
literally he's the
Yes.
main character of every one. I mean, it's just these wild characters around him, but he's the one thing that's in all. Of them.
Holding it all together.
Why aren't they giving
Yeah.
him more credit?
I don't know.
He's been there since the very beginning.
He has.
But yeah, so not excited, huh?
No, I am excited. I just watched The Force Awakens the night before, and then last night watched The Last Jedi.
I'm gonna have to do a couple of rewatches
So-
also. I just don't know what to rewatch. I think I might rewatch the old ones now that I'm on Disney Plus. Because
It's so great. You can watch anytime.
I know.
As a matter of fact,
because I don't
just
think
saw
I
my
have
brother
time to watch
watching,
all of them
yeah.
before.
Attack
Maybe I'll
of the
watch the
Clones.
prequels. Haven't rewatched the prequels in a while.
I love the prequels. People don't like them, and I will say the love story.
They're fun.
It's super, phony and corny, but I like them.
Well, the
I love the
second
action.
movie,
the
Attack of the Clones.
I honestly don't think any Star Wars film, obviously when it comes to like combat, has really surpassed the prequels.
No.
That's one of the bright things about
No,
prequels.
well, yeah, no, not even the new ones. Although the new one has some awesome Star Wars or some awesome saber battles
Yes.
also.
The Last Jedi.
Yeah, it was only the old ones that
Specifically.
they didn't really have a choreographer. I'm guessing, so everything was real. Everything was
And
George
like
Lucas.
Return of the Jedi, when like Luke Skywalker kicks the guy off
yeah,
I was just like, he didn't even hit him.
and at that point,
Foot
there's
was like 3 feet
at
away
least
from him.
Obi-Wan and Darth are like so advanced that it only takes them 2 to 3 strikes.
Well, did you see? Yeah, exactly.
They're
Did
doing
you
a lot more hits. They're wasting a lot more energy in the prequels. They're
Right.
jumping around a lot. It's a lot of energy wasting.
Did you see the video I posted on Facebook about the battle scene that should have happened between Obi-Wan and Vader?
Yeah, I saw that a long time ago.
It's cool.
It is cool, yeah.
That's what it should have been. That would have been legit.
Yeah.
Because that was an awesome battle
They
scene.
would not have had the technology.
Back then, no way.
No. That was peak technology. What you were seeing was the
What it
most they could
was, yeah.
possibly do.
Especially with an old man, too.
But yeah, exactly. And that would have been, I don't know. It would have been wild to see that one battle suit when everything
imagine
else had been
Alec
so
Guinness,
slow.
like,
But I really don't think he had the ability at that
No,
point. He was just an
absolutely
old
not.
man. Yeah, so for him to do that, it'd be like de-age him 30 years. But yeah.
Got a little bit of the Irishman going on, right?
Oh, absolutely.
De-aging.
Yeah. But yeah, Star Wars week, but we're not here to talk about Star Wars.
We're
tonight. We're not. It's kind of Star Wars related though.
It is.
In a way.
Due to the director of the film that we're about to talk about
The director,
today.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We're, of course, talking about Knives Out.
Which we're about 3 weeks late on reviewing this film.
Yeah.
Came out November 27th.
But, you know, we thought it was worth reviewing, though. We're
Absolutely.
taking a look at, but it's
Well, both you and I saw this movie, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that we're reviewing now.
Yeah.
Instead of,
Yeah, I don't know if people were biting at the bit but although it was definitely worth it. I would have reviewed it back then. I mean, we just didn't have the time or whatever. Right. We just couldn't get around. But yeah, I think it was definitely revert. And there's a lot of movies out there we're choosing to review this above the others.
Exactly.
But what movie were we talking about?
Knives Out.
Knives Out, directed by Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
An
Director of The Last Jedi.
An ensemble cast, you could say.
I would say so. I would say the cast for this is pretty damn impressive.
And it's quoted as a murder mystery for the modern day.
And I like that. I like that title because it wasn't really a murder mystery in the sense of who done it.
Yeah.
It was more the sense of
I like that too,
what
because
the hell's going on.
I think it's, in my opinion, going into it too, before I even saw it, was in my opinion, I think it's damn near impossible. I thought it was going to be impossible to do a murder mystery these days. Mm-hmm. Everyone's got cameras on their phones, we got CCTV, we got the NSA listed on us. You can't get away
security
with
cameras.
You can't get away with a crazy murder mystery. But they managed to pull it off in an interesting and not a stupid way either, I thought.
No.
But going into it, I thought, you just can't do it these days. But oh boy. There's ways to do it. You just got to be clever about it.
Let's talk about the cast, because first and foremost, my gal, the one I want to take to dinner, was in this film, and man, did she look fantastic.
Oh, she looks great.
She looks amazing. I love seeing her in films, and that's Jamie Lee
Big
Curtis.
difference from Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, where she's looking a little
crazy.
fragile.
This one, she looked really good.
She did. She's
a great
She's always going to
too.
look good. Yeah,
of course. It doesn't matter. That woman ages like fine wine.
She's a very beautiful woman, absolutely. But yeah, she's not the only one that was in this though.
No, oh my God.
I mean, a lot of people.
Should we just start? Because it's going to take us 15 minutes to get through the cast.
Yeah,
list.
you can go ahead. Yeah.
And goodness gracious, Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, Don Johnson, Toni Collette, Lakeith Stanfield, Christopher Plummer. I mean, the list goes on and on. Frank Oz.
Yeah.
Made a cameo appearance in this,
It's and Michael Shannon, my guy.
We love Michael Shannon here on this podcast.
He is he's one of those guys that can go to 0 to 100 scary fucking quick no matter what role he's playing. He is frightening and everything.
I didn't think he was going to have any
Either
scary parts in this film.
I knew it was impossible.
And then he did. And I was like, wow, okay,
yeah.
That's a little intimidating. Even though he was like a decrepit kind of man that was like, could barely walk with the cane
but
and
it's
stuff.
Michael Shannon.
He's still scary.
Even if I've seen Michael Shannon on his deathbed, I'm thinking, this guy's defenseless. He can't do anything to me. I'm still going in there.
Don't ever think
he
that.
will snap on you. Yep. It is frightening. But you knew having him in the movie, you can't waste him. You got to have a scene where he just snaps and makes you feel frightening. And it seems like he gets bigger when he gets mad. Like it seems like he just
that was
and he
the
always
thing
moves
too,
very close to you and everything. Yeah.
Because he felt over not overpowering but overtowering.
Overshadow, yeah. Which I swear he gets huge when he
oh no, he grows. It must be a superpower.
It's all about the fucking,
wouldn't you love to see him as a villain?
Well, he was a villain. He played Zod in
oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. And he was great in that. I thought he was the shining star of that fucking movie. Although we just learned that Henry Cavill says he loved that movie now, I guess. But yeah, I think the entire cast was amazing. And going into this, Ryan Johnson, let's admit it, he's got some bad publicity behind him.
He does. And unfairly, too, because I think he's very talented.
I think he is,
too.
You know
what? I like The Last Jedi. I've been on record saying that many times.
You've been very,
I just rewatched it. I like the humor in it. I like where he took the story. Like he turned everything on its head in Star Wars. And the only reason why I'm bringing up Star Wars is because it's relative to the type of filmmaker that he is. But like the big ending in Force Awakens when Rey hands Luke his lightsaber. And it was like a big dramatic moment. And then he opens the movie and turns the whole thing on its head.
Yeah.
And I really thought it was brilliant when Luke just tosses a lightsaber over his head.
Again, yeah.
And he also did it with Knives Out, where it was like immediately we knew the whole plot. We knew who the quote unquote killer was.
Yeah.
But somehow he still made it a really just overall great story and something that like I was not bored not at any point in this movie. I had to pee so bad. I refused to get up and go pee because I knew I'd miss something significant because it felt like every scene had a purpose in this movie.
Well, this is a movie that if you wanted to go pee, you probably wanted to go pee right at the start. Like
Yes.
right in the first half an hour when they're introducing all the characters. Because right after that, it
But even
starts
then, you
picking
learned a
up.
lot about the characters in that first half an hour.
You do, but we keep learning about it even throughout the movie with the flashbacks and everything. We kind of learn about them when they're interviewing him and whatnot of their side of the story.
Yes.
And then we learn about the real side when the maid starts talking. But yeah, if you wanted to go, I think if you wanted to go pee at the very start because past that 30-minute mark, once you learn the twist or whatever, it starts picking up.
It
and
does.
It gets crazy and it's awesome. Yeah, like you said, just from seeing his first 2 films, or only 2 films, I know he's done more before, but yeah, he's very good at kind of turning you on your head and going in a direction that you probably never even thought you were going to go and throwing out. Some people hate that.
Yes.
At least for Star Wars fans, because they want to be able to
Apparently.
predict the entire thing.
Right, of course.
But yeah, just on Last Jedi, I've said it before, but that's one movie that I've never been so split on. There's some scenes I just fucking love, and some scenes I could have done without. The whole side plot of
Rose.
Yeah,
you didn't
You see
like Rose.
people and the cast and everyone has been turning on Rian Johnson.
Really?
J.J. Abrams, I saw, said he was mad about it, the whole film, and what's his name, John Boyega, came out and said he was.
Yeah, he said he disagreed with a lot of the direction.
Yeah,
of that
people.
film. Yeah.
Feel bad. And the only thing I've ever seen from Rian Johnson, he's just smiling. Everyone
He
says
always
he's the
is.
nicest guy in the world.
He is,
Yeah.
and he doesn't like rudely troll people, but he politely trolls people on Twitter.
Oh,
when
yeah.
they say his movie sucks.
He's just a guy that looks like he's just so happy to be where he's at, just directing films.
Yeah.
You can tell he does love movies.
I may be in the minority in liking The Last Jedi, and that's okay, that's fine. But I have to be honest, as a big Star Wars fan, like I did not have very many problems with it. There were a few things I
Were the
didn't
ridiculousness-
particularly like, but
yeah.
overall,
We
I
don't
mean,
need to go-
the Leia thing.
yeah,
I
we did
couldn't
the-
stand. That was the one thing. Where I
Oh,
was like,
yeah,
oh
also,
my god,
yeah.
that would have been a perfect death for her.
Yeah.
Not having Kylo Ren do that, but anyway.
Yeah,
That's
I
for
agree.
the
I
next
completely forgot about
podcast.
that. Yeah. Well, yeah, and we've already reviewed The Last Jedi. We've talked about all this before.
Yeah, that was like
but-
3-hour podcast, 3 hours and 20 minutes. It was a
But
long
yeah, there was
podcast.
some. I totally forgot about the whole Leia.
That was the one thing that frustrated the shit.
But what's ridiculous about The Last Jedi and all that drama is, it's still, in my opinion, way better than the Clone Wars. Like, not even like. To me, the second prequel is the worst Star Wars film of any of them, and I like The Last Jedi more than that.
Really? See, I've always liked the Clone Wars, but then again, I'm also biased because that was like the big movie for me.
And that was the
as
one
a
with the
kid.
most love story.
Yeah, I know.
That was the
I
one
know.
where it was
And if you-
98%.
To be fair though, if I go back to that and I watch it now, I'm rolling my eyes through.
Oh,
half Of it. Like, this is
absolutely, yeah.
terrible acting.
But I'm saying
And it's
that's
not
what's
even
crazy
their
about
fault.
is what the fucking Last Jedi got like a 50% from user reviews or whatever.
Yeah.
It got horrible reviews.
Well, and that's from
It's
trolls
not-
just voting over and over and over again.
Yeah, but it didn't get good. It didn't get great critic reviews either. But
Yeah, was it like a 91?
Oh, okay, then it did get pretty good. But I still think it's a better film than fucking Attack of the Clones.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The Last Jedi. Yes.
Yeah, but no one ever brings that up. See what it got.
Yeah, I'm checking right now.
It'll
Because
probably,
I think it was a little lower than 91. Now that I said that. No, it was actually a 91. I was right on the money.
yeah. So that did get
But
good.
audience score was a 43.
43. Yeah.
Yeah.
That fucking hurts it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's jump into this.
A wealthy
Star Wars or Knives Out?
Yeah, let's just forget about Knives Out now.
Let's just go Knives Out
Yeah,
slash
let's go
The Last
slash-
Jedi
yeah.
again. Yeah, why not? All right, here we go.
But well, another thing, I said this earlier too, but I think Rian Johnson is doing his best work when he's making his own original
Content. Absolutely. I agree
Yeah.
with that. Yes.
Because you could feel during The Last Jedi again that he was just obviously being pulled and prodded to be pushed in all these different ways. But I think when you give him 100%, room to move and everything, you get a great film, and that's what Knives Out was.
Yeah, and we should also bring this up in case people don't know this, but this wasn't just directed by him. It was also he also wrote this as well.
Yeah,
the
an
screenplay.
original screenplay.
Yeah,
and that's
so.
writing a murder mystery cannot be easy.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's almost like a math equation.
Uh-huh.
You got to figure out. I mean, you got to establish motive and everything.
And
That's
you
why
have to
they've
answer
never.
every little question in character detail.
Yeah, and you can
I mean, for
never,
each
and you
person.
can never give, and it can never be too simple. You
No.
know, you can never, because that's the whole thing of a murder mystery is the twist of who killed him.
Yeah.
So you can never give. That's why Agatha Christie,
And to be
is
fair-
the fucking giant.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she made like 80 murder mystery novels.
And they were all really good too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were.
And then There Were None is one of the best ones.
They were good. Yeah, they were really good. Yeah.
Not to toot my own horn or brag, but
I
halfway through this film, I knew the whole plot.
I didn't
I guessed
know.
it.
Well,
And,
I didn't know what was gonna be. Well, I didn't know. There were some things I knew probably, but I didn't. For one, I didn't know that I was gonna do the twist at the very beginning and show that it was the.
No, I had no idea about that.
No idea.
No, I
That
just
was a
meant
big one.
like
Yeah.
who the actual.
I
bad
didn't know.
guy
We'll
was.
get into it, but I didn't know at the very end that a certain character died. Till the very end, I thought that was a really good twist.
Really? I called that beforehand. I was like, oh no, they're
Yeah,
dead. They're dead.
My hat's off to you.
I know, dude. I was excited because normally I don't call shit like that beforehand, but one after another, I was calling it. I was like, yes.
But yeah, so a wealthy crime novelist named Harlan Thornberry. This is all about the Thornberry families. If you know anything about rich people, they got more drama than fucking anyone.
Oh,
And
of course. They're all
and
rich, spoiled brats.
This is kind of old money Thornberrys. They live in this giant fucking mansion. But pretty much they all get their money from Harlan, who was a crime novelist. He wrote like fucking 90 bestsellers or something like that.
Which is kind of like the Stephen King version of crime novelists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
90
what
books,
he is in this movie is a Stephen King. If Stephen King never let any adaptions. But as we know, Stephen King, he loves adaptions.
He definitely
He
does.
says anyone can do anything with my
At
books.
any time. Yeah, Michael Shannon wasn't too happy about that though. Walt Thrombey.
No, well, yeah,
We'll get into that.
But yeah, and they had this giant party for his 85th birthday, and on the next morning of the party, the maid finds Harlan Thrombey's throat slit. And that's
Franz walks in, which
is from the
Righteous
Righteous
Gemstones. Yes,
She's hilarious.
she's
too.
great.
Yeah,
she's great
really
in that
good.
show.
But yeah, she walks in and sees the throat slit. And what a classic! If you're gonna do a murder mystery,
Got to have the
stab
maid
in the
walk in.
back, throat slit, something like that. It's got to be something dramatic. Maybe a poisoning. That's
Yep.
always fun.
It's always a good time.
And we learn that we get into another aspect I liked was that I really thought Daniel Craig was going to be the main character in this movie, and he was not.
No, he wasn't.
He doesn't talk until 40 minutes into the film,
Yeah, he just kept hitting the piano key.
and it was hilarious. The physical comedy was really funny.
It was
in this.
great.
It was
Yes.
really
The timing
funny.
was impeccable.
It was
really
yeah,
good.
I'll get into it, but the part when they were searching around the house was hilarious. The way that we'll get into it, but
Yeah.
but yeah. So some mystery person paid this private investigator to search for the killer of their grandpa, Harlan Thrombey, but no one knows who hired him. Daniel Craig's character, and his name is
Blanc.
Detective Blanc, Benet Blanc.
Benet Blanc.
And he's like the French Quarter, New Orleans, like very old.
But he's
style.
got like a southern accent.
yeah, of that like New Orleans like Southern accent draw like no one has anymore. But yeah, so he's investigating outside of actual cops that are investigating because this is 2019.
Right.
You can't just fucking hire a PI anymore and just call it good. But yeah,
And he's also super famous, might we?
oh yeah, that's true also. But yeah, he says that someone left him a big stack of money, big old stack of cash but he doesn't know either. And the whole time I was second guessing Blanc. I'm like, I think he might be a moron the entire time because we don't really learn how good of a detective he is until like almost the very end. But
I figured if they hired Daniel Craig, though, he was probably going to be an intelligent.
yeah, but I thought it
detective.
could have been that twist where like he really doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing. He got
and he
lucky
was just
on
gonna
one-
stumble
yeah.
his way into
Yeah,
and
oh,
that's
I
like
see, yeah.
always his thing where he
Right.
just stumbles his way into that.
Yeah, I could have seen it go, or I could have saw it going that way with
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson.
Because even
way
at the
he
very end
writes.
when he's doing like the donut metaphor,
Yeah.
the hole in the
Right.
hole of
That
the
shit was
donut
funny.
hole.
Yeah, people are looking around like, what?
You're thinking this guy's not. He's just talking bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like that a lot. His character was awesome. I hope that they start doing like a Murder on the Oriental Express thing where we just get more movies just following LeBlanc or Blanc.
That I would like that. Yes,
like what
as a
Agatha Christie
detective,
did with
yeah.
like her detective or whatever his name was, Hercule or whatever his name. But yeah, I think that would be an awesome idea, and he just keeps going, and we follow him, and he does like 8 films. But yeah. So Blanc learns that Harlan. Well, first Blanc starts. The police call everyone back to the house to interview him, and that's how we get our first introduction into characters. Well, we get their side, and everyone talks about how great a fucking relationship they had with Harlan and how they're tight as fucking,
the picture perfect family, right?
Yeah. And every time, and it's good, like you said, every time, it gets just too much bullshit, or they go off into a different area, Blanc hits a piano key, and that's...
Yes. And if you noticed, every time he hit the piano key, right after that, the detective would ask, what time were you there?
Yeah.
Or what time did you...
Because that was his cue to change it up.
Yes.
Like, this is going too far, now you gotta change it up. But yeah, so that's how we get their first introduction. And of course, it's not the real introduction of any of them. But we get introduced to... let's just go by let's go through the names. We get introduced to Jamie Lee Curtis, who is Linda Drysdale.
Yeah, Drysdale. Yeah.
And she is Harlan's oldest daughter. And she's like, she's kind of Harlan's favorite. Kind of. She's the one that made the most out of herself, more than anyone. So he's probably the proudest of her. I would say that. Because it ends up being Ransom as his favorite.
Which we don't know why, because Ransom's been a worthless twat his whole
only
life.
because he reminds him of himself.
Yeah.
And that's Ransom. Well, he's lazy. He doesn't do anything. Yeah. So Jamie Lee Curtis, and then we get Michael Shannon, who's Walt, yep. And that's
and he runs his publishing company.
He runs a publishing company. Yeah, and he's got a limp. And then we get Don Johnson, who's Richard Drysdale, and that's Jamie Lee Curtis's husband. And he's funny because he's a moron.
He is not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Because they're trying to like kind of entrap Jamie Lee Curtis at the very start and trying to get him to talk bad about their family. And she's like, "Do you really think
I'm gonna?"
And then great fucking editing. This film had great editing.
Seriously,
for comedy, it has to be. Comedy is all about editing. I've talked about that before, but yeah, the editing. And
they go right to
Don Johnson's character, and he's talking shit about everyone. But yeah, I like that a lot. And we get Toni Collette is Joni Thornberry, and that's the widow of
the deceased
son. Yeah, who's no longer with them. Toni Collette, man, she's in fucking everything these days. She's killing it, and she's a lifestyle guru. So pretty much, she just does like
she's foo-foo full of shit.
Yeah, it's full of shit. It's all like crystals and shit like that. That doesn't work or anything like that. Okay, so we get that, but quickly Blanc learns that Harlan had alienated every part of his family, and everyone was either taking advantage of him or just taking money from him, and we learn that he has cut everyone off.
Yes.
And we learn this from
Ana de Armas's character.
Yeah. Marta. Mm-hmm. She's got a complicated last name too. I can't remember it. Cabrera, yeah. And she's from... This was another funny thing, is they kept every character... It was an ongoing joke. She's from Uruguay. And
none of them knew.
None of them knew.
This is your stereotypical rich white family who is completely uncultured and doesn't care.
But it gave you a hint right at the start, because at the start you're thinking, oh, maybe they are really fucking nice. Because it shows, because remember they do a flashback and they were like, welcome her in and everything like that. So you're thinking, oh, maybe. But then you quickly learn that no one fucking knows. Oh, she's from Paraguay. Or no one knows where she's at. And you learn that, they don't give a fuck about her.
And if you look, there was 3 or 4 different instances where they would hug her and be like, oh, we thought you should have came to the funeral, but other people said no. But other people disagreed.
Oh, I got outvoted.
Outvoted. But everyone voted no for her to go to the funeral. And that was kind of another joke as well, where it was like, they're all full of shit.
I got outvoted. And by the fourth person that says that, you're like, okay, well, the math doesn't add up.
No, it doesn't, because there's like 7 people in this family.
So 3 of you vote. I mean, I would have been at the fucking funeral.
Exactly.
But yeah, so we learn that they're all assholes. And Harlan, well, I'll tell you what he's cutting them off for. So he's exposing his son-in-law, Richard, for having an affair.
Yep.
He's cheating on old Jamie Lee, which What a moron.
I don't know why you'd ever do that. I mean, goodness gracious, if my wife looked as beautiful as Miss Jamie Lee Curtis at her age, there's no way I could ever do that.
I know. And he's cutting off his daughter-in-law Joni's allowance for Toni Collette's character.
Because she was double dipping into the college funds for her daughter.
Yeah.
For Christopher Plummer's
her lifestyle
her granddaughter.
fucking guru, whatever business is in debt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's been double dipping.
Into Meg's.
And it's like $150,000, like a quarter. Like she must have gone to Harvard or something.
Yeah.
Well, we learned that it's like a rich Ivy League, and she's been in school for like ever.
And she's getting her SWJ.
Yeah.
Which that shit was funny too, where she was going to college for like a liberal arts degree.
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever,
for something that you can never get.
that
A
you
job
can never
for,
get
yeah.
a job for. Yeah.
But yeah, and he's fired his youngest son. He fired Walt from the publishing company.
He did because Walt wanted to make movies, and he kept pressing the issue.
Yeah.
And he was having none of that. It was his work, and I like that talk too, where they do that flashback.
So do I, because we learned that. Yeah, I mean, we learned he was
And the
kind of
way
asked, but we
Harlan-
learned that Harlan kind of feels bad because he never let him go out on his own
and create his own
he felt
thing
like he was
and
always
start
in his own
thing.
shadow. So he
Yeah.
really, to me, it really felt like he wasn't just being an asshole, which you could probably, it probably seemed like he was.
Well, Walt felt that way too. He goes, "So you're firing me?"
Yeah.
He's like, "We'll talk about it later." Because I don't think that was Harlan's intention, is to fire him maliciously. It was just
No, he was just
he
letting
really
him go,
genuinely
yeah.
felt bad because he felt like his son was living in a shadow his whole life.
And his son is getting fucking drunk at every fucking family party and bringing up the production thing at every turn. So eventually you got to go, I'm going to let you.
Enough is enough.
Yeah, this
Go
is
create
not going
your
to
own
happen.
thing
Yeah,
then.
exactly. And we learned that he's completely cut Ranson out of his will as well. And they had a vicious fight.
Yes, they did.
At
But
the
we don't
party.
know about what.
No, because no one was able to hurt.
No one heard it. And normally, what they were bringing up is that Harlan and Ransom always like to flesh out the drama in front of the family and throw each other under the bus. So that was a very odd thing that they decided to go into the office
yeah.
and argue about it instead of coming out in front of the family.
And one of my favorite jokes, I can't remember his name, but Walt's son is like a neo-Nazi, like an alt-right troll.
Alt-right troll, yeah.
And they
Dude,
bring
there
it
were
up
so
a
many
couple-
jokes about that.
They
It was so
did.
funny.
I was laughing so hard, but yeah, but he says like 2 words the entire thing. But the kid's in everything.
Well, and you know that kid. He's from It.
He's from it. Yeah, he's in everything pretty much now. But unknown to Blanc, we learned that after the party, Harlan's nurse. This is where we get into it. Harlan's nurse accidentally injected old Harlan.
Jacob Thromby is his name. There you go.
What's the actor's name?
The actor's name's Jane Martell.
Jane Martell, yeah. Yeah, but we learned that old Marta, who actually had the only good relationship with old
And you know what? I
Harlan.
love the chemistry between those two.
Very
And we
real,
really
felt
dive
very-
into that.
yeah.
It felt organic. It
did,
felt
it felt
like
very
it was
real,
an
yeah.
actual relationship between those two.
And again, that's, I mean, to the actors, as well, but it's to like Ryan Johnson's writing as well for them to write that in, because it did, yeah. Their banter between each other was amazing.
It was great.
It felt
And
really
felt
organic.
natural.
Yeah, it felt really organic. But yeah, so they're playing Chinese checkers. They
Mm-hmm.
play every night, and we learned that old Harlan's been hitting a little bit of morphine.
Yeah, yes.
He's been hitting
Only
the good
3
stuff.
grams, so that's it.
Well,
Not
3
a
grams
hundred.
will get you
Yeah,
going, man,
it
my guy. You
will
don't
get feeling
need
good
much more
after
than
a
that.
while.
But yeah, because he had like a fall or something, so
Mm-hmm.
he's been taking that. He's not a morphine addict
No.
or anything like that. But I love that. Again, I love that little banter when he's like some of the good stuff, and she's like, "Oh fuck, yeah."
I
She's
gotcha.
taking a
I
little bit of
gotcha.
herself. Dude.
She's like,
one
"You know
for
what?
me, one for you.
You want to share the needles?
Yeah. But yeah. So but what happens is she gets, just instinctually, she accidentally injects him because he gets one medicine where he takes the entire vial.
Yeah,
which is
what was
wild.
that? Like potassium or something? I think it was.
I can't. Yeah, it's some for I don't know diabetes or something like that. But and then he gets a little drip of morphine just to help him sleep it on. And she got the bottles.
and she
mixed
gave
up.
him 100 milligrams of morphine
Yeah,
on accident.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is a lot of fucking morphine.
That's about 30
That's what they're
times
giving
the lethal dose.
Oh, that's what they're giving soldiers in World War II when their guts are hanging out. Like just
Like,
inject this
go to
guy.
sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot of morphine. But
It is.
But we learned that Marta says you have. She ends up panically. She immediately starts crying. It's a really good scene. She's an amazing actress. But,
She is.
She immediately starts crying, and she explains that he'll have about 3 minutes until he'll start losing consciousness, and he'll be fading in and out. So, fucking Harlan doing what he does best.
Starts writing notes.
The most dramatic way possible, dude. This guy's already... And I love that. I love that because it made so much more sense to me than having this huge mystery of, like, where the maid did it, and the maid ends up being like this mastermind that no one can figure out. It made sense because he was that's all he knew, crime novels.
Was crime novels, yeah.
So for him, he knew exactly, what he could and couldn't get away with. That's why you always got to be worried about crime novels being serial killers, because they know they did a lot of research.
They have, yeah.
But yeah, so he has minutes from his death, and Harlan told Marta to avoid suspicion. He immediately starts taking notes, and a plan is hatched. He's going to he's going to appear to make it look like he was murdered, right? So Martha, because Marta has a family that is her mom is illegal.
Yes.
She's been living here and working, so if she gets caught she goes to jail, and then her mom is going to get sent back,
deported.
and her sister is going to be fucked and everything, and so she's very scared about that, and Harlan knows that. So they hatch a plan that Harlan is going to fake his death or make it look like a suicide.
Mm-hmm. And he gives her like a list of instructions.
Yeah, he tells her exactly what to do.
Yep.
We don't really learn later until what the entire details of what it was, but it's very detailed, very thought out.
It is.
He had to been thinking about this.
Left,
yeah,
he had
to
like,
been like,
wow,
go
okay,
do
this guy knows what he's doing.
This has gone through his... I mean, what crime novelists wouldn't just think about their, like,
that is
doing
true.
their
I mean,
own
that is
death
their
and doing
job,
a
especially if you
crazy
write 90 novels about crime. You probably have a few ideas in your head. Yeah. And I love how he was taking notes before he died. He was like, oh, I got to write this down. And she's like freaking out because she's trying to find the serum. I don't know what it's called, but the medicine to like, because...
Yeah, the anti-agent. That's something that
they put
counteracts.
Yeah, they put that thing naturally in the bag in case there is an overdose. You can put that.
And it always comes with, like, if you're going to get morphine, you're going to get this also, no matter
and then
what.
she couldn't find it. It wasn't in the bag.
Yeah.
Which was a red flag to me immediately. I was like,
but she was so panicky, it didn't really, they didn't draw attention to that.
No,
too
they
much.
didn't. No, they didn't.
Just said, I can't. She just said, I can't find it. I must have it's always in there, because she was just so panicked anyways. But yeah, so and he tells her everything. He tells her, you drive past the fucking gate or whatever. Yep. You gotta drive past this statue, or the cameras are gonna get you. Then you gotta come back in or whatever. But as Marta is seen escaping, we didn't talk about. But as Marta is seen climbing out the window or whatever, she's seen by.
What's her Greta?
Greta.
Great Nana, whatever.
Yeah, Greta Thornby, and she maybe is 100 years old.
Yes, well over 100, because her son's 85. Yeah,
no, I said 800.
Oh, she's a vampire.
She's very old, and at one point they ask how old she is. Blanc wants to and they say they have no idea. Time doesn't go back that far. We don't have. There's nothing we can tell, but maybe a stone tablet somewhere might say how old she was.
She still has the 10 Commandments. Mo just gave it to her personally.
She is unbelievably old.
One of the final survivors of the Red Sea.
And I love it's very vague how old she is, and it's so hard to even tell because she's wearing like 80 pounds of fur, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter, in the middle of the house, she's outside, no matter what, she's wearing like 90 pounds. And she can't talk. She's
the blood circulation's probably not very good after 100.
Oh, no. But yeah, so she can't talk, or she can't see or anything. Or if she can see, I don't know.
It's very, very little because she has glasses that are like giant glasses.
Yeah, Coke ball glasses. Yeah. So she can't. But she does see Marta leave. Mm-hmm. But as she sees her, she says, Ransom,
back so soon?
Because that's the only word she knows is fucking ransom. That's the only guy she can remember. But we learn later she might not be too old. She might have a little something left for her. But because and this was, I thought it was weird at the time, but I enjoyed the element it threw in, was the element of Marta that she can't lie without throwing up. Which I don't know if it's an actual medical condition.
It's definitely not. That one was a little tough for me to swallow, no pun intended. Or pun intended. Take it what you will. But I thought that was a little much.
It did, but it ended up adding a really good element, especially towards the end.
Yes,
it
did.
It
And it
ended
did
up
tie
at the
it
very start.
together,
You're like,
but-
oh, because everyone else is like, oh yeah, she can't lie without throwing up. That's fucking normal. That's
Mm-hmm.
but everyone's real nonchalant about it. But Blanc immediately takes advantage of it. You know, he says he hires her. He says, you're going to help me on this investigation because you're the only one. You know this family, and you're the only one that can't fucking lie. And the rest of these guys, because he already knows, the rest of these guys have been lying the entire time.
Right.
You know, he knows because he's the world's greatest
detective.
investigator. I mean, that, but he really is because they established that he had a big New Yorker article written about him.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Everyone knows
That's
about
what I was
him.
saying earlier is that he was famous.
He's like the last of his kind or whatever. Yeah. But,
Last of the Mohegans.
But Blanc asks her to assist in his investigation, and then they start. Well, first he asks her questions and whatnot, and he at one point she gives him like a half answer, and she runs outside and throws up, and he kind of follows her. And again, this was what the whole time I'm thinking maybe he's not that great of a detective because she's like throwing up in a vase, and he comes around the corner and he's got no fucking idea that she was throwing up or anything, but or lying. But yeah, so he asks her to assist, and they start walking around the property with another detective to see if they can find some clues. And this is, to me, was a really funny part when they're all like searching for like the mud and the footprints and everything, and she's running up, like running through them, and like
Right, yeah.
no, and then she runs
she's
back,
just walking back,
no,
and then
please,
she's walking
she
again.
goes back.
He's like, hold on, do you want me over there? She starts walking back, and they're like, no. Oh my god.
Yeah, so they go through, and they can't get any muddy footprints. And they go towards the house, and they find the dog brings up the wood paneling that fell from the house when she was escaping.
When she was escaping or walking
She just
down.
looks at him, and she just
Chucks it.
Hail Marys that. And LeBlanc,
good
of course,
arm, in all
LeBlanc, of
honesty.
course, is just looking around. He's completely oblivious.
Yeah.
And the fucking dog comes back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a whole ordeal. But they
And one specific thing we have to make sure we bring up is a little earlier than that, they zoomed in on her white shoe, and there was just a speck of blood.
one drop of blood.
One drop of blood
from
on her shoe.
Yeah. And the blood was from Harlan. I can't remember how she got it on her foot though.
Remember, because she had to go back up and see him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because she was gonna go up and because when the whole thing was going, she had a realization. She's like, I can't fucking do this, and she goes up. I forgot about that scene, and then right when she walks in, Harlan's already got the knife to his throat.
Yep.
That's a brutal scene. Yeah,
It
he
is.
does. It takes a lot to cut your own throat.
You got to be.
You got to be 100% that you're going to do this.
Oh, yeah,
Because
you
you don't want to
can't
go
half-ass
halfway
that.
and you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
cut your jugular and your
Yeah, it's not like that. Yeah, it's like you got to go for it.
Yeah, you have to be committed. It's like doing a backflip in my mind.
Exactly. You can't half-ass a backflip. You're gonna break your fucking neck.
You have to be, once you're in the backflip, you're going to be 100%, I'm going to land the backflip.
Exactly.
Because trust me, I've tried. And I'm never about halfway through. I'm second guessing my whole life.
Always.
I
I go to like Sky High or something like that.
Yeah,
I'll
and I
only
see
do a
people doing-
backflip into the foam pit.
Oh, yeah,
That's it.
absolutely.
I
Safety
can't do it
net.
on the trampoline. I'm too chicken shit.
But yeah, so they search the property, and Marta, she pretty much conceals everything, you know. But it's not too difficult for her to do it, you know. It's not taking much of her to conceal all this, and eventually the lawyer comes to read the will, you know, and everyone's all fucking excited for that. Ransom comes late to the will reading, but he does show up, and he didn't show up for the funeral, but he showed up early for the will reading, but he didn't show up,
to the funeral. Yeah.
which shows what kind of person he is. And but of course, again, they had a big fight at the end too. And that was the last thing he ever said about him. But
And Ransom's laughing the whole time too during the will reading.
yeah, and Chris Evans is great in this role.
He is
He's great.
a bipolar
He plays-
opposite of Captain America.
He plays a rich asshole very well. Very well.
Yes.
A rich, spoiled, like trust fund kid. He did a really good job of
in
that.
that sweater.
Oh yeah, and knowing that he can't be fucking touched by anyone because
Yeah.
you know at one point he was the favorite, but he goes around and yeah, and he's Jamie Lee Curtis's and Don Johnson's son. Yeah, and they know that he's the laziest son of a bitch in the world, and they pretty much can't stand him either. No one likes him. But the family's shocked to learn that the lawyer says that Harlan left everything to Marta. Who could have guessed it?
I know.
That, of
What
course, I did see coming.
And we got to talk about who the lawyer was.
Yeah.
Frank Oz.
Frank Oz.
Yeah.
Wild.
Which I thought he nailed it because some of those comedic
Well, he's-
moments were really funny.
Oh, yeah.
Where he was like, well, You're pointless. He
Well,
goes,
he's an
exactly.
actor.
And he's like
Yeah.
trying to get up. I know, but this is the first time he's ever done an on screen in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I think the last thing I saw him in, he did a cameo like this, because he's a director mostly, but he did a cameo in Blues Brothers, and that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I like that he was there for he knew immediately. He was there for 12 hours, because they were just, everything they were doing to try to argue that it wasn't, that he was out of his mind or whatever, what they usually do. So immediately the family that was so nice to Marta before immediately fucking turns on her.
Of course.
And just swarms
And they're bombarding
her.
her. Yeah.
Yeah, to the part where I thought it was just going to be a gang beating.
I know.
They're just going to jump her ass.
Michael Shannon starts hitting her with his cane.
Cane just starts kicking her ass when she's down. Yeah. But,
Well,
so Marta escapes. With Chris Evans' help. Oh my God, how
Imagine
convenient!
that.
Yeah, imagine that. And they go to a bar, and Marta explains everything to him.
Yep.
She just lets it all on the line. She again, she's not a hardened criminal, so it was really kind of
pretty easy to break her.
Yeah. And this is a couple of days after the event that's happening, so she's been home and she's talked to her mom and everything like that. Well, does she go? No, she talks to Chris Evans first at the bar.
Yeah, she does. Yep. She confesses everything. A few drinks in, she confesses everything. And you can tell Chris Evans' character is really thinking at this point.
He kind of tricks her into explaining everything, because he knows that she can't lie either and throw up. So everyone's fucking taking advantage of that. But yeah, go on.
And that was a moment for me where I go, oh, something's up here. Because he was thinking a little too hard at that table.
Oh yeah.
And then one thing that Rian Johnson did really well in concealing the plot twist at the end, quote unquote, was still showing the motive of who Chris Evans was. Does that make sense? Because he was like, oh, I'll help you, but I want my cut of the inheritance.
Exactly, yeah.
So at the same point, you could have just thought that and then completely forgot about the twist at the end.
Oh yeah. You don't have to. Yeah, I don't think it gave it away. It obviously, you thought, oh, he's working for something, but he was also working for his errands. He was the only one that was going to get anything out of this, and he was going to conceal his grandpa's fucking murder. So you knew he was sketchy.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, he's not the most normal guy, because he did not take the whole grandpa being murdered thing
Very
too
hard.
hard.
No.
Too hard at all.
Didn't seem to mind, actually.
Yeah, and that was the big giveaway for me, was and how he's acting. But I thought, okay, maybe he's supposed to be acting like this, because, to throw us off a bit. But yeah, so eventually Chris Evans says, I'm going to help you out, because if you get found out that you killed him, you're not going to get any money, obviously. But Chris Evans says, yeah, I'll help you, but you got to give me a cut, my cut, whatever he was going to own. And, and then later on, Blanc tells the entire family that they are all suspects in a very dramatic moment. He says, you are all still suspects. And that none of them can leave or anything. None of them can leave, the state or anything like that, because it's a murder mystery, Eventually, the entire family tries to persuade Marta to renounce the inheritance.
And they use a few tactics for this.
Well, they use the fucking daughter, who was Meg, who was the only one who you really ever felt was actually affectionate, because she's fucking liberal and whatnot, and
she is, but at the same time, she also wanted the money as well.
Well, yeah,
she also lied to.
Well, yeah, that was the whole thing. She called her. Marta was like, "Oh, thank God, someone I can talk to." And then she was like, "Well, what are you gonna do with the money?" And I like that moment, because you immediately know, it sucks all the well, that she's only called you for the money, and Marta says she's keeping that shit, as anyone can do. Is the cookies done?
No, the coffee's done, as a matter of fact.
But Marta receives a blackmail fucking letter that reveals someone has the toxology report. Of course, they're going to show that he's got.
And it was a partial.
Yeah, she didn't show the whole report in the blackmail, but the blackmail is that the person has the rest of the report.
And at this moment, Marta thinks, obviously the morphine overdose.
Yes.
And there's this thing in a clause for an inheritance called the Slayer, right? And under that,
well, the Slayer list law, yeah.
Yeah.
Wild that they had to make that a law. Like, can you imagine a time where people were just killing like the
people,
rich?
yeah.
Rich were like, hey, we did it, but you
my
he
inheritance.
died. It's
Yeah.
my inheritance.
So you had to make a law to say, hey, you can't kill them and also inherit their money.
Let's make this clear. You can't murder people and then just get their money. Because I'm sure it was wild times before that.
I bet it
fucking
was.
law
Yeah,
came
like
in.
1850s, 1860s, people murdering.
Yeah,
rich
no, that's what I
people
saw
all the time.
reading. I'm like, I can't believe that it's something like had to be put in the paper. Like that's
People do a lot of crazy shit apparently for
Oh
money.
yeah. Oh yeah, but and we also get this is the Michael Shannon ends up meeting her at her house also.
And this is a very intense scene
It's
too.
a very
She
intense
goes
scene
out
'cause
to
it's
grab
in
the
a
mail?
she goes out and it's in like this really quaint, small, claustrophobic hallway. Like,
Yeah, because it's just that they just live in a basic apartment.
yeah, because it's
they're not rich.
Well, yeah, her mom doesn't even have documents, so she's probably only getting the shittiest job she can get, which is shitty.
Right.
So yeah, no, they're not living in any kind of, but they're making their way. Yeah, and they're in like this little tiny hallway apartment. And then he comes in, he's acting nice at first, but man, again, we talked about it earlier, but Michael Shannon goes 0 to 100
He does.
quick,
He's
and he gets
scary.
right, and it's the point where she has to like escape him.
Well, and
'Cause I
at
thought he
first-
might have done
Yeah, and
something.
at first he's being really nice, and then he starts to blackmail her.
Yeah,
He goes, "Now look, we don't want to have to."
he's like, we
tell
know
that
about your mom.
Your mom, yeah, being an illegal immigrant. And she goes, "What?" She goes, "But we have lawyers that would be able to
says,
help
"We
you
have the
out."
resources.
Yeah, we have the resources. But then Marta turns it on its head there, and she goes, "Well, if you have the resources, in my inheritance, I have the
And
resources."
I like that a lot because it showed Marta wasn't an idiot.
No, she wasn't dumb. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah, she might have been. They underestimated her because she was nice.
Yes.
And because she was
And
nice,
you're
they
trying
thought
to
she was
tell me-
dumb. Because
you're
only
trying to
nice
tell
people
me
are dumb, is what rich people think.
Yeah. And you invest $500,000 to get someone legal in the country. They're not going to allow you to do that. Money buys everything. We've come to find that out. I mean, we protect fucking pedophiles in this country.
Well, that was the whole thing. He
with
thought that
money,
she was so that she was dumb enough to where like, oh, I can protect you, but you can't do it by yourself because you're not smart enough.
Right.
But then she's like, well, if I have all your fucking resources, then
Then
I
why
think
can't I
can
do it
handle- yeah.
myself? Yeah.
And then she slams the door in his fucking face.
And he gets angry about
does.
that.
He does get very fucking angry. We learn that he might be the biggest asshole of all of them. Well, besides
Ransom, yeah.
But yeah, so she's getting blackmailed. So her and Chris Evans the next day go to the coroner's office because I don't know what they're planning on fucking doing. I guess they're gonna break in there and see if they have the report or whatever. But when they get there, the fucking place is
on fire.
engulfed in flames. So now things are kicking up.
Yep.
Now you're thinking, who the fuck set this fire? Who's looking out for her now?
And at this point, Detective Blanc
He's there.
sees them.
And this is one thing I thought, how dumb that they would
Go that close too. It's just like if
and
you
then
see
he
it on
sees
fire,
them
turn
and
around.
the scene when he sees them and he starts freaking out, chasing them on foot. They end up pulling out of there and then they get into like
A car chase, but
little
the
chase,
worst
but-
car chase ever.
oh yeah, yeah. It was laughable. Again, it was funny because no one's really chasing her and she's in like what is it? She's in like a Geo Metro or something. It tops
Like a car
out.
that it's 75.
Yeah.
On a good day.
And she's even yelling at Chris Evans to go faster. He's like, this is
It's
as
like I'm
fast.
flooring it. That's how it is in my Prius. It's just like
Oh,
I'll floor
yeah.
that thing and it goes 82 and I'm like,
Well, you're never supposed to go faster than 80. It's
true.
That always reminds me of the typical Terminator joke when the good guys always get in the shittiest trucks that only go 60 in
yeah.
every single one they do. It tops out at 60 miles an hour, while the bad guy's in a semi that is going 120.
120. It's like, damn, what kind of engine?
Not
they
only
got
that, but it
bad
has
boy?
a bulldozer fucking thing.
Turns into fucking Optimus Prime.
But yeah, so but they do get away. They do the classic slam the brakes and just hope you don't get T-boned to all hell. But they end up getting away, sorta, kind of. And they didn't get in that much trouble for running away from the cops, which I thought there might be more questions about.
Yes, more consequences for running from the police. Yeah, I figured as much. But they only arrested Ransom.
Yeah.
And then Marta
because-
went with Blanc because Blanc thought that, quote unquote, thought that Ransom forced her to drive. He asked her immediately, did he force you to drive away? She was like, yes. And then
Yeah.
she pukes in the cup real quick.
Yeah,
before he can
again,
see.
before she can lie. Yeah, so she thought, yeah, because he was driving, so they thought she was just in the car or whatever. So they arrest him, and Because she's also going to go to the meeting place still.
where the blackmail is.
With the blackmail, because they set up a
place.
place in some shady part of the neighborhood, like you ever do if you're ever going to do blackmail someone.
Shut down, laundromat.
This is the only place. That's the only place to do it.
Of course, that's an abandoned
Abandoned laundromat, yeah. But yeah, so she goes though, and she goes to the meeting. They make it on time. She ends up because LeBlanc's in the car at this point. He's like, "I'll ride with you now."
And she's like, "Can I go pick something up real quick?" And he's oblivious to the whole thing.
Yeah, he's got headphones in.
Yeah, he's got headphones in.
There's sirens and shit going around. Again, the whole time I'm thinking this guy's a moron.
Yeah.
This guy is he's got no fucking clue. He's gonna stumble into this. But we end up figuring out he knew pretty much everything that he's playing them. Yeah. Which was awesome to find out. But she goes there and she finds the maid.
Mm-hmm. Franz.
Yep. She's not looking too good though.
No. And I like the way they set this up too, because it's like her sitting in the chair, and I knew it was going to be a dead body, or what I thought was a dead body. I guess it was a little bit of a twist because she wasn't dead. But she comes up to it, and I like the spider on the face, because that's just, I don't know, it's kind of tropey, but it was still, I appreciated it. I thought that was like,
well, it's creepy. It's good. Yeah, added kind
another
of
element of like creepiness.
It was good because it was like it kind of brought you back down to where although there was a ton of comedy, this isn't a comedy film solely. There's still a murder mystery at hand. And we forgot that they end up arresting Ransom because the grandmother said that she saw him climbing out the window earlier, which was really Marta, we think, for now. So that's why they arrested him, because he's for the murder.
Sat down with her, and he's like, "I'll give you as much time as you need. I know you're smart. I know you're still there."
I like that scene a lot.
I like having time with you.
He's
I
like,
like spending this time with you.
I like that scene a lot because he was like, even if you're not going to give me answers, I like sitting down there because of all the chaos of that family.
I know. And out of all the
everyone
people
at each other's throats, like
that would have been the perfect one.
If that's what money does, he's seen it, and it's the worst of it. Yeah, and that's everyone fucking hates each other. But that's the whole reason they arrested him, is because now they think that Ransom is the murderer. Mm-hmm. So he's going to prison. Marta's kind of in deep shit at this point because they think Ransom's probably just gonna flip on her, right?
Oh yeah, she knows that.
Yeah,
I mean, I would hope you would assume that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
Marta goes to the laundromat. She sees Franz, and Franz is not looking too good.
No,
she's looking a little pale in the face. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, it looks like she's been hitting that needle kind of hard,
a little too much.
It's definitely an OD kind of look. Yes. And if you got spiders climbing out of your mouth,
it's probably not good.
You're OD'd for sure.
But Franz wakes up unexpectedly, and she keeps saying, "What was the word she used? You did this."
I can't remember. I think it is something like that. Yeah. I think she keeps saying, you did this to Marta. Because Marta ends up trying to give her CPR because Marta's,
a good person.
She's not cold-blooded.
No,
she's not
of course.
She already left fucking Harlan.
And
now she's not going to leave.
Yeah. And she's not the murderer anyway.
No, and she doesn't.
She's not a murderous person.
And she's a nurse, and she doesn't even think about it. She immediately calls 911, and the sirens are coming. Again, it takes LeBlanc 10 minutes to figure out what is happening.
And also knowing that Marta was done for at that moment in time, she could have left Franz to cover her own ass.
Oh, yeah.
She could have done that because at this time, the toxicology report pretty much puts her behind bars because that toxicology report means that she gave, quote unquote, OD'd Harlan.
Yeah.
But no matter what, she's still a good person, and she calls 911 anyway.
At this point, you're not going to become a mass murderer. You're not going to start just killing everyone, seeing everyone die. So she said it wasn't worth it at that point, and she ends up confessing to LeBlanc about everything.
Yes, and Blanc goes, "I know." He goes, "Ransom confessed a few hours ago."
Yeah, he's
or
like,
an hour ago.
He immediately rolled on you. Yeah,
and of course he did.
Yeah. Well, that was. I mean, that was, we knew it was going to come eventually because that was the whole Slayer law. Someone had to, tell someone that she was the murderer eventually. Now Ransom's going to get a lot more money if she ends up being the killer.
Yeah.
But Marta ends up finding the toxicology report
in her cannabis stash, her weed stash, which I love the way that was set up too, because for whatever reason, the way that Franz brought that up in the movie, where it was like, oh, this is where you hide everything. In the little clock.
Well, it's the daughter. Remember, the daughter was like, because when she's freaking out at the party or something like that, she's like, "Oh, I know where Franz spot is or whatever, and they
Yes.
start trying to smoke weed or whatever. Yeah, so they set that up earlier.
Yeah,
one
they
night.
did.
Yeah, she said like this is my hiding spot, but she says that she has hiding spots all over the house too. So she's a good maid.
Oh, of course.
But what
I guess
maid? You're by yourself in a giant rich fucking mansion.
You got to find a few
Oh,
hiding
toke a
spots to
couple
smoke.
oh, yeah.
Smoke a joint every so often.
That's not
I'm
the
sure
worst- it's not the
hard
worst thing.
work trying to deal with that family,
Yeah.
all the bullshit drama.
That's not the worst thing going on in that house. So if you're good taking a couple puffs, more power to you in my mind.
Yeah, for real.
But so Marta is about to confess to the family. Mm-hmm. She's gonna put it all out there. She's gonna not give up all the money. But
And she finds because this is important. She finds the full toxicology report, but she doesn't look at it.
no,
She doesn't look at it.
yeah,
She just hands it over to Blanc
yeah, and he reads, and he
Yes.
immediately.
as she's confessing to the family.
Now cogs start fucking turning
Yeah.
in Blanc's head. Now he's becoming the real fucking detective because he starts firing off, and he knows exactly what he's doing. Because
And I love that scene too. It was good comedic timing because she's just about to confess to the family. It was oh.
yeah, he shuts it all down.
And he goes, "You all are terrible people. You don't deserve a dime of the money." And then Marta's just kind of looking around like, what in the hell is going on?
Yeah.
She was just so confused.
Because he had to make it seem real enough for now that she was so innocent.
Yes.
And he ends up bringing Ransom and back to the house with the police, and then they start getting down to it, and the real detective work starts now. Now
Right.
we get the donut holes and the donut
In the
holes,
donut hole, in the
and
donut
another
hole.
donut holes, and
A lot of donut holes.
it's all
I
a
don't know
lot of
where this
donut
is
hole
going.
analogy,
Yeah.
but yeah, so after Ransom learned at the party that Harlan was leaving everything to Marta, because we get the flashback finally, because Mara Blanc is like, what did the little Nazi boy say? He's like, bring the little Nazi boy in
Yeah,
here.
what did he say that he said? Yeah.
Because he was in the bathroom listening when he was the only one that
To
heard
the
the
argument,
fight.
yeah.
So he
And there
heard-
were two distinct things that he said. And
Yeah.
one was, "You'll pay for this," and God, what was the other
I
one?
can't remember the other one.
"You'll
yeah.
pay for this" was one of them.
Yeah, you'll pay for him this one time, and it's like the other one was like, it was just more to that sense.
Yeah,
like you
exactly.
regret this or whatnot.
Yeah,
but,
you're gonna regret this or whatever else.
But yeah, and we learned that. He learned that because Harlan says, "I'm leaving everything to Marta, and you're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna get anything." And then Ransom didn't like this.
No, and that's when he storms out of the office.
He storms out of the office. He drives. He goes to the correct spot because we didn't even talk about that. Marta parked in the wrong spot.
Yes,
because
because
that whole
Harlan
tape,
was telling him before the statue or after.
Yep.
No, I mean after the statue.
because
or
that
whatever
whole
it
tape
was.
part was really funny too.
It
That was
was.
more
It was a
physical
great
comedy that we
scene,
forgot when they're
yes.
walking around and she's hitting the eject button
And they still
no
have
one
the
could figure
VHS system.
like
I'm like,
two
really?
screens aren't even fucking working.
This
Yeah.
place is multi-million dollars, and they still got this
Oh, yeah.
jackwagon out here running VHS.
It was very
VCR
funny though, yeah.
stuff.
And she ends up getting rid of that tape for the magnetic strip, but yeah, because Ransom knows everything. Ransom he's lazy but he's smart, and he was raised by fucking crime novelist, so he knew exactly. He knew what to do. He parked after the statue so he
Yep.
would not be seen. He did the exact same move Marta did. Went back around the house.
Yep. Through the gates.
But the dogs barked at him
Because they don't like
because they don't like him. No, the dogs never liked Ransom.
And
yeah.
and that was also set up a lot too, because there were two different occasions where people brought up the fact that, oh, you know a lot about a person based on whether or not a dog likes you. Or
Yeah,
not.
exactly. Yeah. So he goes up. He ends up. What we find out is he ends up switching the labels onto the bottles.
Exactly, and taking the serum or the
Yeah.
anti whatever.
Yep. Yeah, the agent that would end up saving
That would end up
Harlan,
saving
yeah.
his life. Yes.
Yeah, he swaps the contents of Marta's medical vials so that she would kill Harlan with an overdose of morphine,
Mm-hmm.
making her ineligible to claim. Because at this point, he knows that she's going to get it all, but he knows the Slayer role as well. Because again, he's a criminal mastermind. That's
Exactly.
what happens when your grandpa's just telling you crime stories all goddamn day.
Not
You're going to pick up
wise.
a few
Yeah.
things. You're going to be a criminal. But yeah, so he knew that he had to frame Martha into
Mm-hmm.
killing him. That was the only way that he was going to get, which is very smart. He thought very quickly about that.
He did.
And then in anger as well. Well, and I like the scene we kind of got because he drives down the road. Mary stops right in the middle of the road. Like he's kind of thinking about it. Then he fucking reverses back, pulls up, does all the shit. But yeah. So however, Marta is a fucking experienced nurse.
Yes.
And she knows by the weight.
The weight of the two bottles.
Because she is such a great nurse.
Yes,
Yeah,
even though they look the same too. And it looks like the same substance. One's a little bit heavier than the other. And unbeknownst to her, even with the label, she just knew what the correct
She's done it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
1,000,000 times. Yeah, it was like second nature to her.
Yep.
She doesn't even need to look at the bottle. She knew immediately.
And that was the panic with her when she looked down and saw that the label said morphine. She panicked.
Yeah.
But in all reality, she gave him the right.
And it was the
potassium
panic. It was the panic of like, this is impossible. Like this is. And then another thing where it was like, again, the anti-agent that would have saved him was gone too.
Gone
so
as well.
she was immediately thinking like, this is crazy. This should never happen. Two things happening, that was wild. But yeah, and after his death was reported as a suicide, Ransom we end up finding that he hired Blanc.
Right.
Again, he set this whole thing up. He was the mastermind. He
because
set up.
he was trying to pin it on Marta.
Yeah, but they knew that. I guess he knew that just a regular cop wasn't going to be able to figure this out.
Nope.
So she, and instead of it having to look like an accident or whatever, which it could have been, they again had to pin it on, because if it would have been an accident, again, it would have been hard to say it was an accident. But she didn't know as well that she was in the will too, so it doesn't look good in any case for Ransom or any of the family. So they had to really make it look like she did this on purpose. So he hired her thinking, but Blanc, he's the world's greatest detective. You're not going to trick him. You're not pulling the wool over this old bull's eyes. But yeah, and he hires Blanc, and Blanc discovers that Marta's guilt, but Fran later saw Ransom fucking swapping him. He didn't check all the fucking corners. You forgot the maid's always eavesdropping on you.
Of course.
What else they got going on?
She was nosy too, because you remember earlier she was talking to Marta about all kind of the family gossip and stuff.
Oh, she knew everything.
She knew what she was doing.
Yeah, for sure.
And she was actually the one who was trying to blackmail Ransom.
Yeah, she sent Ransom the blackmail note.
Exactly.
Again, quick thinking. He just, no name on the fucking note. I'm just going to re-gift this bitch. Just keep
smart man.
Move that down the line. Yeah.
Could have used that power for good.
So he came over to Marta's apartment and put the note into her mailbox, because that was really too hard. And that's why when we saw Fran, she was saying, you did this, because she was really saying that, because fucking Ransom came in half an hour early or whatever and killed Fran, put the overdoser or injected her with a ton of morphine.
And she wasn't saying you did this. She said Louis did this or something like that.
Yeah.
It was real close to what.
Because she was ODing on morphine. So we couldn't get a
clear word out.
But and Marta said immediately that Fran wasn't, a drug addict. She said she did, but she wouldn't have done morphine or whatever. So it was kind of out of character. But yeah, he passed the ransom note on. He destroyed the evidence that Marta was innocent by burning down
the medical examiner's office. Yes.
Because what we know is of her being an excellent, that she never gave him.
She administered the right drugs, so there would have been no morphine in his, or not, and there would have been morphine, but not an overdose of morphine in his system.
You would have saw the right amount. You would have saw
amount.
3 milligrams,
Yep.
3 milligrams
exactly
of morphine,
what should have been
and then the 100
administered.
milligrams of the right medicine.
Right.
So the toxicology report would have immediately said that she was innocent.
Mm-hmm. And cleared her of any wrongdoing.
So Ransom, again, now it's getting a little sloppy. So now he's got to go and he's got to run down. He's got to burn down the coroner's office, which it's a tough thing to do,
Oh, yeah.
When we see him, he's doing it, no problem. Gasoline and everything. So he burns that bitch down, and
he's trying to also frame Marta for Fran's murder as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's double murdering. He's making sure she's never getting any of that fucking
But luckily,
money.
Marta was a good person. And she ended up calling 911, which kind of blew the whole thing to shit.
Yeah, because I'm sure we never got into it, but I'm sure Ransom thought his fucking, because this is what he would have done, is he would have let her die, as in Marta's. But Marta, being an actual good person, she called 911. Unfortunately, didn't help Fran do well.
No.
But that was the big twist, is Marta ends up getting a call from 911 that Fran didn't make it.
But she plays it off. And remember, Marta cannot lie without puking.
She can, and this is her best, and that was the whole kind of thing for me too, is like throughout this, and that's all about character development, is she kind of becomes, just being around the family, I think she becomes more and more of a better liar. Just being around these fucking people, it's gonna, flake off onto you, but she kind of becomes more, and when she gets the call, she holds it in very well.
She
in
does.
my opinion. She holds in very well. And
Just enough time for Ransom to then admit that he murdered her. And that he was the one behind the whole thing.
Ransom says, "What are you gonna do for me if What are you gonna do to me if Fran is still alive? That's attempted murder." He's like, "I'll get off. I have nothing. That's nothing." So he's like, "You have nothing on me." So Fran, because the whole thing is, he swapped the bottles.
Yep.
But she never gave him, so it wasn't murder. He actually killed himself. So it wasn't murder at all. The big twist was crazy. Is that so nothing was gonna happen to Ransom.
Nope.
I mean, he would get attempted murder.
But that's with a rich person with
yes.
inheritance
and being
and
white.
everything else. Yeah.
You're not. I mean, you're
You're
not.
not looking at much
You'll
time.
do probation. You'll get probation. You'll get probation. You'll get fucking community service.
Right.
It is sad. But
It's very sad. It's not good.
No,
I mean,
it's
I'm
not.
I'm not proud of
No,
our
we're not gloating.
Justice Department. No, not at all.
but it's the reality, and
It
he
is.
fucking knew it. I mean, he
Oh,
wasn't.
of course. He was a cocky little jerk about it.
Yeah, and he said, so Fran's not dead. He's like, this is all working out for me. He's like, I didn't kill anyone. My grandpa killed himself. And
But he does admit to switching the bottles and everything else. He admits to the whole plot.
But again, that's just attempted.
Right.
Because, had she given them and he admitted it, there'd be double murder on him. But
And as soon as he's done gloating,
she throws
Marta
up.
throws up all over his face.
That's when we start getting the donuts and the donuts. We get the great analogy. And
But it's not over.
no, Marta vomits on Ransom, which is a great.
He realizes now, okay, crap, now I'm going down for double murder.
And I like this. We didn't talk about it earlier, but as kind of like a reference to how far his family has gone from like actual like any kind of work or anything. Mm-hmm. He says earlier enough that he's like, I built my entire life on murder, telling a story of murder, but my family wouldn't even tell a prop knife from a real knife. He's like, because they've never really held a knife in their hand. They've never really done anything. And that's, again, it was another good, I knew this was happening because he said that, but
Yes.
it was good. It was intense. So Ransom thinks he's going away from murder now, and he's saying, well, what's one more murder
What's
going to
one
do?
more? Why not?
Again, rich asshole.
Let's just rack him up.
Let's take
Few
everyone
more
down
before
we can.
I go.
And he grabs that they have this giant kind of Game of Thrones
knife chair. Kind
knife
of thing.
chair.
It's really cool. Yeah,
It is cool. Yeah, absolutely. Odd to have.
Artistic,
you would never
you know.
have in just a regular house.
No,
You
I would. I would be a little
You
concerned
better be
if it was in
a
any
butcher.
other
You better
house,
own
but
a butcher shop, or
which
you're
is so
or
weird
you're
what
murdering people.
Super rich people can get away with in their homes, other than just normal people.
Absolutely,
Because Cash, I
yeah.
think if I had that very same thing down here,
Yeah, I'd
I
be
probably
like,
wouldn't be doing this.
I'm not coming in.
A basement, we're good.
I
I'm
know
not
what you're doing.
this.
I'm not coming in there. Yeah,
Not doing it.
Yeah, sit in the knife chair.
Please.
But yeah, so he grabs a knife off that and stabs her.
He does.
But
And you think, oh no,
Marta's
Marta's met her demise.
dead. She's been
Because it was right
slaughtered.
in the chest. Got to give it to Ransom. It was a great stab.
He knew what he was doing. Again, very smart man. But we learned that it's
It's a prop knife. It's one of those
prop
out and in
Again,
knives.
more physical comedy that I loved. Yeah, they grab him and they arrest him. He's
And
also
all he
covered in
says is,
puke.
shit.
Oh, and that's it. That was
Yep. And then Marta walks out on the balcony and looks down at the family because now the mansion and everything is now hers.
and she says, "Get off my fucking
Get off
property."
my property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all kind of asking what's she gonna do with it or whatever.
She's
And
like, I'm
also,
keeping this thing for myself. I've been through hell and back.
oh yeah, and we learned that Don Johnson ends up getting found out.
Because originally he found the note that he said he was going to give to his daughter.
Yeah, because when Harlan was going around, in the most dramatic way possible, telling everyone, "I'm gonna, you're for
expose
this.
you."
I'm gonna expose you." He said, "I got the letter right here, and this is gonna expose you." And again, more foreshadowing before that, when they're first interviewing Jamie Lee Curtis's character, she's like, you can tell she genuinely did like her dad.
She did.
And she's like, yeah, you have to find a way to communicate with Harlan because everything was a mystery, That's what he's like, but we found our own way to communicate. And then we learned later that was through invisible ink.
Yes. And Richard, being an idiot, he opens his desk
get
drawer.
rid of it.
Looks sees it's blank, and he's like, I'll
At least
put
throw it
back.
away.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this guy's a liar. Puts it back in the desk. Well, sure enough, Linda finds it. Jamie Lee Curtis finds it. And she holds a lighter.
She knows
to
immediately.
It.
It's on like a certain piece of paper and everything. She knows immediately.
She knows what it is. And come to find out, it's a letter that's saying that Richard cheated on him.
It's good, and I'm
Cheated
glad
on
they
her,
even
rather.
threw that in at the very end because because one, it shows you that the entire family is completely falling apart at this point.
Yes.
Toni Collette's character, you know, he ends up telling her that she's not gonna pay for any, so no school, she's broke. The only one that ends up being okay is
Meg?
No, well, Meg doesn't have.
Or no, I guess she's not getting her college paid.
It's
for
Jamie Lee
anymore now.
Curtis is the only one because she was rich before. She
Oh, yeah,
actually
that's
made
right.
money. She's the only
Linda.
although she's being divorced. At this
That's
point.
rough. Yeah, and if we know anything, have you seen Marriage Story yet on Netflix?
Oh, it's great.
Incredible film.
It's great.
Some of the best acting
makes me
this
never
year.
want to get married.
That,
Never.
dude, I was like, oh my God.
It's
this
brutal,
is
dude.
brutal.
Yeah, and just how their marriage is.
Laura Dern, though, was awesome in that as well. As
So
the lawyer.
was the other lawyer, his lawyer.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
I can't believe I'm forgetting his name.
Hello, Heat. Come on.
He's in everything.
Oh my God.
He's in everything.
Stop.
Yeah, he always plays the shitty guy.
Leonetti. Or no, what's his name? Fuck.
No, it is a Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Leonetti. What am I saying?
Ray
Liotta.
Leonetti.
Yeah. Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's fucking.
Adam
great at
Driver was awesome as well. ScarJo was great. It was
Yeah.
That was
It was sad
top contention film. I think it's got to win some
for
sort
acting
of
at
award.
least
Yeah.
for sure.
Some sort of an award because that one scene was just wow.
There's some great scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how shitty they became, and how that's just what divorce does. That's just what marriage does to you. It just and they had a great marriage. It seemed.
I know, and I love the way
Like
they
if that
opened
doesn't work,
film.
if that doesn't work out, then what a chance do we
know.
have? But
That would be a fun one. I'd actually that was a great film.
that was a good film too. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, very good.
Anyway,
Yeah, back to Knives Out.
don't know why we're talking about that. Don't know why I brought that up.
I don't know why. Oh, we're talking about divorce, I guess.
Yeah. But anyway, that's how it ends.
That is how. That's how it ends. Ransom ends up going to prison. Probably not for super long.
Probably for like 4 months.
Yeah, because it was
Get out
just
on good behavior.
murder. Yeah, he murdered one person, attempted murder 2 other people.
Yep.
So you probably get 5 years, as long as you're white.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mason, what did you think? Should we give our final grade on it?
Yeah, let's do it. I really enjoyed this movie from the very start of it until the end. I told you this and I was joking around about it, but I'm dead serious. Like I couldn't go to the bathroom. I had to pee so bad, but I was like, I can't miss any of this because I felt like every scene was intentional. Every scene had purpose. Like I think you would have took one scene out of this movie, it would have been off. I feel like from start to finish that every scene needed to be in this movie, and that's what I appreciated about the writing. There was no lazy writing in this either. I thought everything fit together perfectly. Rian Johnson's really impressive to me. I really like his original content. I like what he's doing, and I think he should stick to this. Not murder mysteries, but sticking to his own...
Yeah, writing his own material.
Because you can tell he's passionate about what he does.
Oh, yeah.
And about the things that he writes. Overall, just entirely impressed with this film. It didn't miss with me really at all. I don't have any real critiques for this movie.
So giving it an A.
I'm giving it an A. I
right.
have to because I cannot think of anything that I did not enjoy about this movie. I think maybe one of the only things that I could say is that, in all fairness, I did see the ending and how it would take place just because I was really trying to put the pieces together because going into it, I knew it was a murder mystery. So like I was trying to like put together all the evidence. But that's not really a critique because I love the way that it ended. I love the storyline and all the little things just added up. So for me, I give this just a solid A. Like it was a great film.
I liked it a lot too. And even though like, I mean, I didn't see at the very end of her getting the vials right just by weight. I mean, I didn't think, I thought that the twist at the end was that she really did give him the morphine, you know? I didn't see that coming, that she was going to be such a great nurse or whatever, that she was going to weigh the bottles by hand, you know? I didn't see that coming. I thought that was a really good twist. And they kind of foreshadowed that earlier that because he says, you know, you're a good nurse because you care, you know, he said that really early on. Yep. So I didn't think, so the fact that it ended up being suicide at the very end when we thought that the entire time it was murder, I thought that was a really, really good twist. When he actually ended up, he didn't have to kill himself at all.
Oh, which sucks for him.
Well, but again, what better way would he have wanted to go out?
as a crime novelist.
Yeah, I mean
exactly,
that's the dream.
That's pretty awesome.
That's the fucking dream.
You could write a biography on his life then.
That's like fucking Stephen King dying as an
By
eighth
Pennywise.
dimensional fucking giant spider comes down and kills him. He'd be like, "Yes, I was right."
I knew all along, folks.
That's the way you want to go out for sure.
is
I mean,
true.
so I don't think there was any better way for him to go out like that. But yeah, that twist of, and again, I went into it thinking it was going to be so predictable and thinking like it's just so hard to do murder mystery now. And I was thinking I was going to know. And again, I saw a trailer for it that seemed to show me the entire goddamn movie.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. Luckily, I did not see that
Yeah,
trailer.
because it showed Marta the entire time, where the other trailers didn't show her at all.
Yeah.
But again, there was those small twists at the end that I did not see coming. And usually I am pretty good about doing that. So I like that again. And like you said, the writing was just amazing. And the comedy, it was one of the funniest films I saw this year.
It was really funny. And it brought up social issues too.
It
like
did,
when the families arguing about immigration and stuff like that.
Yeah, we didn't even get into that part. We didn't even get into the part at all about the party, that whole night of them, and they end up getting in arguments and whatnot, and they but yeah, like you said, the writing was amazing, the character development was great, and like you said, Rian Johnson, this is what he needs to be doing, is writing original
I agree with
content.
that. Yes,
and I love any movie that has me guessing and isn't predictable. But I'm gonna give it. Though my only thought was, I thought the first 30 minutes, it's just the same thing that any murder mystery has a problem with, is they have to introduce the entire character and entire cast within that first 30 minutes.
But I love the way that they did that and the quick edits and stuff. It kept me intrigued the whole time.
Well, it's what almost every murder mystery does, is with that them being interviewed in some way or whatnot and having that quick reference or whatever. I thought that, but right after that, it just picks up so fast. Like you said, you don't want to miss a beat.
No.
Because it's like a dance choreograph so fast. It was just, everything was firing. And when everything is firing at the right time and everything, it makes it that much more enjoyable. I gave it an A-.
Okay.
But it's probably
so clear consensus.
Oh,
a must see this year.
It was just fun. If I one word review, I would just say it's fun. It was a really, really fun movie to go to. It was I don't know. It was fun.
It was kind of
it was fun sitting there and guessing what was going to happen. Trying to think in your head who was going to be in that. I always have a good time doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, A- and an A. That's pretty good.
Oh heck yeah!
That might be one of our best reviewed movies of the year.
One of them, yes,
for sure. I don't think
Ready or Not. It kind of had a Ready or Not feel to it in a weird way for me, with the rich family. Kind of being dysfunctional.
It's funny that you said that, because I just told someone to watch Ready or Not. I told him, I said, this movie's amazing.
It's awesome.
I said,
Ready or Not was one of the best films.
I told my uncle, because he watched it, but he watched it and he said, yeah, it was awesome. It's because it just came out on DVD.
Yeah, and you said that Knives Out was fun, and that's the same thing I got with Ready or Not.
Yeah.
It was just fun.
Oh,
the
for
whole
sure,
movie
yeah.
from start to finish,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Alrighty, well, that's our review for Knives Out. Clear consensus.
Go and see it. I would say there's a lot of movies.
But I'd hope with our podcast, it's one of those things where I hope you already saw the movie, because we spoil it all the time.
Yeah, we spoil the entire movie. By now, I hope you know that. Yeah.
But, so let us know what you thought about the film. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? What'd you like? What'd you dislike? You can hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere you can find social media pages. Check out our YouTube channel. Have you seen it? Have you seen a podcast? We're the little angry popcorn guy in the director's chair. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. You can find our podcast on any platform if you're listening on Spotify. Any plat. iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, you name it, we're there. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Kraus. And until next time.
Bye.